Welcome to Monk's Temple. Settle into a comfortable position, and if it feels right, allow your eyes to softly close. Begin by bringing your attention to your breath. Notice the gentle rise and fall of your chest, the coolness of the air as it enters, the warmth as it leaves. There is no need to alter this rhythm, simply observe it with a quiet curiosity. This breath is your anchor, a steady pulse of life that is always with you. Today, we will explore a gentle yet profound teaching from the heart of the Buddha's path, the art of balancing care for others with care for yourself. This is not a lesson in selfishness, but in sustainability, a quiet understanding that the most enduring kindness springs from a source that is itself tended and nourished. Imagine a great, ancient tree standing alone on a wide plain. Its branches are wide, offering shelter from the sun and rain to any traveler, any creature who passes by. Its roots, however, are hidden deep in the earth, drawing water and nutrients from a secret, subterranean spring. The tree does not hesitate to give shade. It does so naturally, effortlessly. But if a season of great drought comes, and the hidden spring runs dry, what happens? The roots find no nourishment. The leaves begin to brown and fall. The branches, once generous, become brittle and bare. The shelter vanishes. The tree's capacity to give was never separate from its capacity to receive from its own deep source. This is the subtle truth the Buddha illuminated. We are like that tree. Our outer acts of help and kindness are the shade we offer. Our inner practice of self-care, mindfulness, and spiritual nourishment is the root system drinking from the deep spring. Neglect the roots, and the shade will inevitably wither. This wisdom gently corrects a common misunderstanding. We sometimes believe that to be truly good, truly compassionate, we must erase our own needs, pour ourselves out completely until nothing remains. Buddhism teaches a different, more compassionate middle way. It asks, can a candle that has burned itself down to the stub light another candle? The first duty of a light bearer is to keep their own flame kindled. From that steady flame, others can safely light their own. Let me share a story with you, a new metaphor to hold in your thoughts. Let me share a story with you, one we call the keeper of the bell. In a monastery high in the mountains, there was a bell of extraordinary tone. When struck, its sound did not just fill the air, it seemed to cleanse it, bringing instant calm to all who heard it. The monk tasked with ringing this bell took his duty to heart. He rang it at dawn, at noon, at dusk, and whenever visitors arrived seeking solace. He loved the effect it had on people. Over time, he began to ring it more frequently, for any reason, moved by every small request. He never allowed the bell to rest. He did not notice the tiny fissures beginning to form in the ancient metal from the constant vibration. One morning, as he struck it with his usual devotion, the bell let out a dull, cracked thud instead of its clear, resonant note. The sound was jarring, unpleasant. The heart of the bell had been fatigued. The abbot came and placed a hand on the silent bell. He said to the dismayed monk, everything that resonates needs periods of stillness. Silence is not idleness, it is the time when the instrument gathers itself back into its true shape and tone. You wished to share the bell's gift, but in doing so without intervals of quiet, you robbed it of its very nature. The monk then allowed the bell long periods of rest, ringing it only at the key hours of the day. Slowly, its glorious sound returned, purer than before. This story reflects a core Buddhist principle. Your mind, your spirit, your capacity for empathy is that bell. Constant giving without periods of inward silence and restoration leads to a loss of your own essential tone. You become unable to offer the clear, calming resonance that truly helps. The practice of meditation, of quiet reflection, is not a retreat from the world. It is the necessary stillness that allows you to return to the world with your authentic sound. If this perspective feels meaningful to you, you have a home here. If you wish to support this space and continue receiving these reflections, consider subscribing to Monk's Temple. Your subscription is a shared breath, a signal that helps this community grow. Thank you. Let's deepen this with a personal memory. When I first began formal practice, I was given the simple job of watering a small, walled garden. Eager to prove my dedication, I watered the plants every morning and every evening. Surely, more water meant more growth, more beauty. After a week, I noticed the leaves of the most delicate flowers turning yellow and drooping. I was confused. I had given them so much care. The gardening monk observed my work and said, "You are drowning the roots. They need water, but they also need air. The soil must dry a little between watering so the roots can breathe and seek nourishment. You must trust that the plant knows how to grow. Your job is to provide the conditions, not to force the life from it." This was my first lesson in balanced giving. Overcaring can be as harmful as neglect. True support provides what is needed, then steps back to allow for the natural process of growth, in plants and in people. It requires trust and patience, not relentless, anxious effort. This is the subtle heart of the teaching. The Buddha's path is one of wise attention. It encourages us to ask, is my help actually helpful? Is it coming from a place of abundance and clarity, or from anxiety and a need to be needed? When we help from a full heart, it feels light and spacious. When we help from emptiness, it feels heavy and draining. The difference is everything. As we continue, we will explore more facets of this balance through other stories and teachings. For now, as we conclude this first part, gently return your awareness to your breath. With each inhale, feel a sense of deep nourishment reaching your own roots. With each exhale, release any urge to force growth or give beyond your capacity. Rest in the natural rhythm of giving and receiving that sustains all life. Let us continue our journey together. Find your comfortable space once more. Notice the feeling of the surface beneath you, supporting you. Listen to the distant sounds around you, letting them come and go without following them. Now, bring to mind a simple, clear image, a wide, shallow bowl filled to the very brim with clear water. The water is so full that the slightest movement, the gentlest breath, causes it to spill over the edges. The bowl cannot be lifted without loss. It cannot be carried without creating a mess. This is the state of a heart that has given everything it contains without ever being refilled. The intention is pure, but the form is unstable. The Buddha taught a more excellent way. He taught us to be like a deep well, fed by a hidden spring. The water at the top is for sharing, but the source is constantly replenished from depths unseen. Our work is not just to draw water for others, but to ensure the spring flows freely within ourselves. This is the foundation of generosity that does not impoverish the giver. We often confuse self-neglect for virtue. We wear our exhaustion as a badge of honor, thinking it proves our commitment. But the Dharma, the Buddha's teaching, invites us to look more closely. What is the quality of the help offered from a place of resentment, fatigue, or hollow obligation? It often carries a subtle energy of burden, even if the words are kind. True dana, or generosity, is one of the perfections in Buddhism. It is meant to be joyful, unburdened, and free from any notion of a debt to be repaid. For it to be so, it must flow from a surplus, not from a deficit. Let me share an original story to illustrate this. The Weaver of Two Looms. In a peaceful village, there lived a weaver renowned for her beautiful tapestries. She worked on two looms. On the first loom, she wove a grand, private tapestry for herself, a complex work of inner landscapes, memories, and dreams. On the second loom, she wove smaller, lovely cloths to give as gifts, shawls for the cold, blankets for newborns, banners for celebrations. For a time, she divided her days equally between the two. But as her fame for generosity grew, people came constantly for her gifts. Wanting to please, she spent all her daylight hours at the second loom, producing gift after gift. Her own grand tapestry sat untouched, gathering dust. Over the months, she noticed a change. The gifts from her second loom became simpler, repetitive, lacking the inspiration and intricate beauty they once had. They were still functional, but the soul had gone out of them. A visiting artisan noticed the dusty first loom. He said quietly, "Your gift loom is fed by the vision loom. The patterns, the colors, the stories you weave for others are born from the inner world you cultivate for yourself. When you neglect your own tapestry, you starve your art at its source. The gifts become echoes of echoes, growing fainter each time." The weaver understood. She returned to spending her mornings on her own tapestry. As it grew rich and detailed again, the gifts from her second loom spontaneously regained their lost beauty and depth. This is a metaphor for our inner and outer lives. Your private world of reflection, your personal growth, your spiritual practice, this is your vision loom. It is not selfish. It is the creative source from which all your genuine contributions to the world emerge. When you sacrifice it on the altar of constant outward giving, you are not being more altruistic, you are slowly dismantling the very factory of your kindness. The Buddha emphasized bhavana, mental development or cultivation, as a paramount duty. This cultivation is not a hobby, it is the essential maintenance of your inner loom. I recall a period in the monastery during a time of intense community service. We were preparing for a large festival, and every moment was filled with physical labor, cleaning, building, cooking. I embraced the work, determined to contribute my utmost. I skipped my usual periods of solitary walking and morning reading, thinking there was no time. After several days, I found myself moving like an automaton. My hands were busy, but my mind was dull and irritable. I snapped at a fellow novice over a misplaced tool. The senior monk overseeing us called me aside. He didn't mention my irritability. He simply asked, "Have you walked by the eastern wall lately? The jasmine has bloomed overnight." I confessed I had not. "Go," he said. "Spend 20 minutes. Do nothing but smell the jasmine." That simple act of receiving beauty, of being present for something that asked nothing of me, reset my entire being. I returned to the work refreshed, patient, and actually more efficient. The lesson was clear. The time spent doing nothing for others was in fact doing everything for the quality of my service to others. It was recalibrating the instrument. This is the practical heart of the Buddhist approach to balance. It is not a grand, once-and-for-all achievement. It is the small, daily choice to include yourself in the circle of your care. It is the conscious breath taken between tasks. It is the 5 minutes of silence before the day begins. It is the wholesome meal eaten mindfully instead of skipped. These are not luxuries. In the context of a life of service, they are critical infrastructure. They are the maintenance of the deep well. When you practice this, you begin to notice a shift. The impulse to help arises not from a sense of frantic obligation, but from a calm, spacious knowing that you have enough peace, enough energy, enough love, to share. The act itself becomes lighter. Consider another image from nature, one often used in meditation guides, the sky and the weather. Your fundamental nature, the Buddha taught, is like the vast, open sky, clear, spacious, and unchanging. Your thoughts, emotions, and the demands of the world are like the weather, clouds, rain, sunshine, and storms that pass through. When you identify only with the weather, the frantic doing, the giving, the solving, you feel at the mercy of every storm. But when you connect with the sky-like nature of your awareness, you find a stability that can observe the weather without being destroyed by it. You can choose to act from that spaciousness, not from the storm itself. This is why meditation is not an escape. It is the practice of returning to the sky, so that you can engage with the weather of life wisely and compassionately, without losing yourself in the tempest. As we prepare to close this part, bring your attention back to the feeling of your breath. With each inhalation, imagine drawing in a sense of spaciousness, like the open sky. With each exhalation, imagine releasing any identification with the frantic weather of demands and duties. You are the space in which all of this arises. Your care for that space is the root of all effective action. Let us continue. As you settle back into your place of listening, gently direct your awareness to your hands. Feel the temperature there, the slight pulse, the potential they hold. These hands can build and comfort, they can offer and receive. Now, imagine you are holding two identical, beautiful clay pots. One is filled with rich, dark soil. The other is empty. Your task is to plant seeds so they may grow. Where do you plant them? Instinct and wisdom say to plant them in the pot that already contains soil. The empty pot, no matter how beautifully crafted, cannot nurture a seed. It has no medium for roots, no nutrients for growth. This seems obvious. Yet, in our lives, we often try to plant seeds of help, of comfort, of change, in the lives of others while we ourselves feel like that empty, barren pot. We offer advice from a place of confusion, give time from a place of exhaustion, share love from a place of loneliness. The Buddha's teaching gently turns us back to our own vessel. The first and most profound act of helping the world is to fill your own pot with the fertile soil of practice, understanding, and peace. Then, what grows within you can naturally extend outward, and you will have true nourishment to offer. This principle is deeply embedded in the Noble Eightfold Path. The path begins not with right helping, but with right view and right intention. A clear understanding of the way things are and a heart oriented toward renunciation, goodwill, and harmlessness. It culminates in right concentration. The entire structure is one of cultivating an inner landscape from which ethical, compassionate action naturally flows. You cannot sustainably practice right speech or right action if your mind is clouded with unresolved suffering. The inner work is the prerequisite for the outer work. Let's explore this with a new story. The Bridge of Reeds and the Bridge of Stone. Between two halves of a village flowed a swift, cold river. For years, the people crossed on a narrow, flexible bridge made of woven reeds. It served its purpose, but it swayed dangerously in the wind and required constant, frantic repair. Every villager contributed to patching it, spending so much time maintaining the shaky crossing that they had little energy for their homes or fields. One day, a stone mason arrived. He saw their struggle and offered to build a solid stone bridge. The villagers were skeptical. "We have no time to help you quarry stone," they cried. "We must keep repairing our reed bridge, or we will be cut off." The mason nodded and said, "I do not ask for your labor. I only ask for permission to work, and that you allow the reed bridge to stand while I build the new one beside it." He began his slow, meticulous work, alone, patient, laying one heavy stone at a time. The villagers continued their frantic repairs, watching him with curiosity. Seasons passed. The mason's stone arch grew steadily. Finally, it was complete, wide, steady, unmoved by wind or flood. The people crossed it tentatively, then with joy and relief. They abandoned the fragile reed bridge, which soon washed away. The mason said, "You were so busy maintaining a fragile solution, you believed you had no time to create a strong one." True help is not just in sharing the burden of what is weak, but sometimes in quietly building a new foundation that makes the struggle obsolete. In your own life, the reed bridge is often the pattern of helping that drains you, the automatic yes, the people-pleasing, the neglect of your own needs to manage the immediate crises of others. Building the stone bridge is the slower, quieter, more disciplined work of establishing your own inner stability through meditation, study, and mindful self-care. It may seem like you are not helping as much in the short term. But in the long term, you are creating a capacity for help that is steady, reliable, and does not require everyone's constant, anxious energy to maintain. The Buddha was the ultimate stone mason. He did not spend his life individually solving every person's problem. He discovered the Dharma, the ultimate stone bridge of understanding, and taught others how to build it for themselves. I remember a time I was given the responsibility of lighting the evening lamps along a long temple corridor. There were dozens, and I rushed with my taper, lighting each one as quickly as possible. My focus was solely on the end point, all lamps lit. One evening, an elder was walking slowly behind me. After I finished, feeling efficient, he pointed back down the corridor. Half the lamps I had lit first had already sputtered out because, in my haste, I had not properly trimmed the wicks or ensured they had enough oil. "The goal is not a momentary flash of light," he said softly. "The goal is sustained illumination through the night. Speed is irrelevant if the light does not last. Take care with each one, and you will only have to pass through once." This became a lifelong lesson. Our help is often like that. A frantic rush to solve, to fix, to light up a situation. But if it is not done with care for the sustainability of both the giver and receiver, it creates only a fleeting brightness, followed by a deeper darkness when it fails. Sustainable help is mindful, thorough, and pays attention to the wick and the oil, the underlying conditions. The Buddha famously taught the concept of anatta, or not self. This is sometimes misunderstood to mean we are nothing, that we should erase ourselves. But its wiser interpretation is that we are a process, a flowing river of causes and conditions. When you neglect your own conditions, your sleep, your nutrition, your mental peace, you are not erasing a self, you are poisoning the river from which others hope to drink. To care for this flowing process is not selfish, it is responsible stewardship of the very stream of life that connects you to all beings. Your well-being is a node in a vast web. Strengthening that node strengthens the entire web. Let's sit with this for a moment. Feel your breath as part of this flowing process. The air enters, nourishes your blood, leaves as carbon dioxide to nourish plants. You are not a solid pot, but a process of exchange. Your act of self-care is simply the conscious, loving direction of that exchange inward for a cycle, to ensure the process remains healthy and clear. It is an act of systemic wisdom, not of individualism. As we draw this part to a close, bring your awareness to your heart center. Visualize there a single, steady flame. This is your inner lamp. Notice its state. Does it need a gentle breath of encouragement? Does it need the quiet trimming of a distracting thought? Does it need the fuel of a kind memory? Tend to it, just for these last few moments. Not to make it blaze for others, but simply to ensure it burns clear and true for itself. From that clarity, all else will follow. Welcome back. Let us move gently deeper. As you settle, bring a soft awareness to your shoulders. Notice if they are holding any tension, any invisible weight. Imagine, with your next exhale, allowing that weight to dissolve, to melt down through your body and into the earth, which is vast and can hold it all. Often, the feeling of being burdened comes not from the act of helping, but from carrying what is not ours to carry. The Buddha's path is one of profound wisdom, and part of that wisdom is knowing what is your responsibility and what is not. There is a Pali word, adhikara, which means self-doer. It refers to one's own duty, one's own rightful burden. The teaching is clear, each being has their own adhikara. To take on another's adhikara completely is not compassion, it is a form of spiritual theft. It robs them of their necessary journey and crushes you under a load you were never meant to bear. Balance is found in offering a hand to help them carry their burden, not in shouldering it and walking away with it. Think of a farmer and his neighbor. The neighbor's field is overgrown with weeds. The compassionate farmer might lend his neighbor a sharp hoe, show him how to use it, or even work alongside him for a day to teach him the rhythm. But if the farmer, feeling sorry for his neighbor, goes every dawn to secretly weed the neighbor's entire field himself, what happens? The neighbor never learns, the farmer's own field suffers from neglect, and a dynamic of dependence and hidden resentment is born. True help empowers, it does not create permanent dependency. True help is guided by upayakushalya, or skillful means, knowing the right tool, the right word, the right amount of aid to offer at the right time. And that skill arises from a mind that is clear, rested, and discerning, not from a heart that is frantic to fix. Let me share a story that illustrates this delicate boundary. The two potters and the broken vase. In a bustling town, there were two master potters. The first was known for his immense empathy. If a customer brought him a shattered pot, he would exclaim, "Oh, you poor thing. Give it here, I will fix it for you immediately." He would stay up all night, meticulously gluing every piece. The pot would be returned, whole but fragile, a web of fine cracks showing its history. The second potter was known for his calm wisdom. When presented with a broken vase, he would examine it quietly, then say, "This break is severe. The repair will be part of its story. I can teach you how to mend it with gold, a practice called kintsugi. The process will take time and patience, and you must do the work yourself in my studio. But you will learn an art, and the vase will hold a new, resilient beauty." The first potter, over the years, became exhausted, surrounded by the ghosts of other people's broken things. The second potter remained energized, surrounded by students who had transformed their own broken treasures and in the process, transformed themselves. The first potter gave a product, a fixed object. The second potter gave a process, a skill, a perspective, a path to resilience. The Buddha was like the second potter. He did not merely fix suffering. He taught the noble truths and the Eightfold Path, the method of kintsugi for the human heart. He gave us the tools to mend ourselves with the gold of wisdom. A personal memory arises. Early in my training, a layperson would often come to the temple in great distress, seeking counsel. My initial impulse was to absorb his anxiety, to try and mentally solve his problems for him, to carry his emotional weight. After our talks, I would feel heavy and drained, and he would return the next week with the same troubles. My teacher noticed. He said, "You are trying to be his sun, blazing down to burn away his shadows. But you are not the sun. You can only be a mirror, reflecting back his own light so he can see his way. Hold the space, but do not fill it with your own striving." The next time the man visited, I listened deeply but did not try to fix. I asked questions like, "What does your heart feel is the next right step?" or, "Can you find a moment of stillness beneath this worry?" I offered the mirror, not the sun. He left seeming more thoughtful than relieved, but he began to arrive less frequently, and with more clarity each time. I was less drained. The help became more real. This is the balance. To be a clear, compassionate mirror requires a highly polished surface, a mind at peace. That polishing is your self-care. This touches on the Buddhist concept of upekkha, often translated as equanimity. It is not indifference. It is a spacious, balanced calm that allows us to be present with suffering without being overwhelmed by it. It is the steady ground from which we can offer true support. Without upekkha, our helping becomes entangled in attachment, to the outcome, to the person's gratitude, to our own identity as a helper. This entanglement is exhausting and ultimately limits the help we can give. When you cultivate equanimity through your own practice, you create a stable platform. From there, you can extend a hand without fear of being pulled into the whirlpool. Consider the image of a mountain and the weather. Storms rage, winds howl, snow and rain lash at the mountain's slopes. But the mountain remains, rooted in the earth, vast and unmoving. The mountain does not chase the storms away, it simply provides a solid presence around which the weather flows. We are to cultivate the mountain-like quality within. The suffering of others is like the weather. We do not need to become the storm to prove we care. We can offer the unwavering, solid presence of our calm attention. This presence is, in itself, a profound form of help. It creates a container where healing can occur. But to be that mountain, you must tend to your own rootedness, your ethical conduct, your meditative stability, your wisdom. You cannot offer a grounded presence if you are internally a leaf tossed in the wind. So, as we practice, we learn to distinguish between the compulsive urge to help that arises from our own discomfort with another's pain, and the wise, compassionate response that arises from a centered heart. The first depletes. The second sustains both giver and receiver. It is the difference between throwing yourself into a fire to put it out, and calmly passing buckets of water from a well-filled source. To integrate this, let's do a brief reflection. Bring to mind a small concern, either your own or someone else's. Now, instead of trying to solve it, simply hold it in your awareness. Imagine placing this concern on a leaf, and setting the leaf on the surface of a wide, calm river. Watch it float there. You are not the leaf. You are not even the river. You are the awareness that sees both the leaf and the river. Rest in that seeing. This is the space of balanced compassion. We will continue to explore this essential equilibrium. For now, as we close, feel your feet on the floor, your body supported. You are the mountain. The weather of thoughts and feelings passes. Your rooted presence remains. As you breathe, bring a gentle awareness to your chest, to the space around your heart. Notice the simple, physical fact of its beating, a rhythm of receiving and releasing, an involuntary generosity that sustains your life. This heart does not ask if it is worthy of beating today, it simply does its work. And yet, we often place conditions on the care we give ourselves, believing we must earn our own rest, our own peace. The Buddha's wisdom invites us to a radical inclusivity. You, too, are worthy of the compassion you so freely extend outward. The path is not about becoming a different person who deserves care. It is about recognizing that the person you are right now, in this breath, is already and always included in the circle of loving kindness. This is the foundation of sustainable balance. If you leave yourself outside the circle, your compassion will always have a boundary, a point of exhaustion. True, limitless compassion, or karuna, begins with the being nearest to you, yourself. We often hear the Metta Sutta, the Buddha's discourse on loving kindness. It begins, "May all beings be happy and secure, may their hearts be wholesome." But the practice, the actual meditation, often starts with the practitioner. May I be happy and secure. May my heart be wholesome. This is not a mistake or a selfish deviation. It is the essential first step. You cannot genuinely wish for others what you are unwilling to wish for yourself. The feeling must be kindled in your own heart before it can be authentically radiated outward. Trying to send love to others while harboring resentment or neglect toward yourself is like trying to warm a house by lighting a fire in the yard. The fuel burns, but the interior remains cold. The fire must be built within your own hearth first. Let me offer you a new story to illuminate this. The fountain with two basins. In the center of a forgotten garden stood a magnificent fountain. It was designed with two basins. A large, upper basin that cascaded water into a smaller, lower basin, which then overflowed into a wide pool that nourished the entire garden. Over decades, the garden fell into disrepair. A well-meaning caretaker arrived and saw the dry, cracked lower basin and the parched plants. He worked tirelessly, hauling buckets of water from a distant well to fill the lower basin directly. But the basin was cracked, and the water he poured in simply leaked into the earth before the plants could drink. He grew weary, his efforts seeming futile. One day, an old gardener visited. He walked not to the lower basin, but to the upper one. He cleared away decades of debris, rotting leaves and hardened silt, that clogged its central spout. Then, he poured just a few buckets of water into this upper basin. The water found the cleared channel and began to flow. It spilled gracefully into the lower basin, sealing its cracks with moisture, and then overflowed generously into the pool and the waiting garden. The caretaker realized his error. He had tried to fix the symptom, the dry garden, by addressing the last point of distribution, while ignoring the blocked source. The garden was not nourished by his hauled water, but by the fountain's own restored flow. You are that fountain. Your conscious, loving care for your own mind and body is the clearing of the upper basin. Your spiritual practice, your moments of joy, your boundaries, these are the acts of removing debris from your own spout. When you tend to that source, compassion and energy flow naturally to the lower basins of your various roles and relationships, and then overflow to nourish the wider world. Force-feeding the endpoints while your source is blocked leads only to exhaustion and poor results. The Buddhist teachings are the tools for clearing the source. I recall a winter in the monastery when I was assigned to tend the wood stoves. My instruction was simple: keep the fires at a steady, low burn to maintain warmth without wasting wood. In my zeal, I would let the fire almost die out, then frantically add too much wood, creating a roaring blaze that heated the room unbearably fast, then died back to ashes, leaving everyone cold. I was oscillating between neglect and overcompensation. The master of the hearth watched me for a few days, then took over silently one evening. He placed 2 medium-sized logs on the embers at just the right time, then closed the stove door most of the way, leaving a precise slit for air. A gentle, consistent heat began to radiate. "You are either ignoring the fire or attacking it," he said. "The fire is like your own energy. It needs consistent, attentive fueling. Not neglect followed by a desperate, wasteful blaze. A steady warmth is easier to maintain and serves its purpose far better than a series of bonfires and ice ages." My own self-care had been the same, periods of ignoring my needs followed by frantic, overindulgent, self-care that didn't sustain. The middle way is the consistent, attentive fueling of your own well-being. This is deeply connected to the Buddhist understanding of dukkha, often translated as suffering or stress. Dukkha arises from craving and aversion. When we neglect ourselves, we often are acting from aversion to our own needs, viewing them as an inconvenience. When we then overindulge, we are acting from craving, a desperate grab for pleasure to compensate. Both are extremes. The balanced, mindful care of the self avoids both. It is the consistent, respectful addition of fuel, rest, nutrition, learning, solitude, connection. In right measure, at the right time, attending to the embers of your spirit so they glow with a steady, useful warmth. Now, bring to mind a simple, kind intention for yourself. It need not be grand. It might be, "May I feel at ease in this moment." Or, "May I be patient with my own mind." Feel the intention not as a demand, but as a gentle offering, like placing that perfectly sized log on your inner hearth. You are not asking for a blaze of enlightenment, just for a sustainable warmth. This is the practice. From this steady inner temperature, you can truly warm others. Your presence becomes a reliable refuge, not a sporadic burst of heat that leaves people shivering in anticipation of the next one. We are all, as the Buddha taught, like lamps. Our inner light is our wisdom and compassion. That light needs oil, the oil of mindfulness, moral discipline, and concentration. If we try to light other lamps without first ensuring our own reservoir is filled, we will all wind up in darkness. The act of filling your own lamp is therefore the most generous service you can perform for the world. It guarantees that light will continue. As we pause here, take 3 breaths. With the first, acknowledge your own presence. With the second, offer a silent word of kindness to yourself. With the third, sense the potential of that kindness to quietly overflow its boundaries. The fountain is designed to flow. Your nature is designed to care, starting from within. Let us go further. As you settle, bring your awareness to your ears. Listen to the silence between sounds, to the space that holds all noise. In that space, there is no pressure to respond, only the freedom to receive. This is a metaphor for the mind. Often, we believe that helping means constantly generating output, advice, action, solutions. But the Buddha taught the profound power of samatha, calm abiding, and vipassana, clear seeing. Both require a receptive, spacious mind. A mind cluttered with your own unmet needs, your own unresolved fatigue, is like a cluttered workshop. You may want to build a shelter for someone, but you cannot find the tools, and the floor is too crowded to work. The first act of help, then, is to clean your own workshop. To create inner space. This is not a retreat from the world's needs. It is the essential preparation to meet them effectively. When your inner space is clear, you can see the true nature of a problem and the most skillful response. You are no longer just reacting to noise, you are responding from silence. Consider the difference between a swamp and a clear mountain lake. The swamp is full of activity, insects, decaying matter, murky waters. It cannot reflect the sky or the trees with any clarity. The lake, by contrast, is still and deep. Because it is clear and settled, it perfectly mirrors the world above it, the clouds, the stars, the surrounding peaks. It also provides clean, drinkable water. Our minds can be like either. When we are overwhelmed, overgiving, and self-neglecting, our mind becomes the swamp, busy, murky, producing more confusion than clarity. When we take time to settle, to practice mindfulness and self-care, the sediment of our agitation settles. We become the clear lake. We can then reflect reality accurately, and from that clear reflection, offer a purity of help that is truly nourishing. The Buddha's teaching guides us to be that lake. The practice of ethics silences the disruptive stirrings of remorse. The practice of concentration allows the sediment of distraction to settle. The resulting wisdom is the clear water itself. Let me share an original story to illustrate this dynamic. The Mapmaker and the Two Villages. A skilled mapmaker lived between two villages separated by a vast, confusing forest. The people of both villages often got lost, so they constantly came to his door, begging for maps. The mapmaker, kind to a fault, would immediately drop whatever he was doing and rush into the forest with each lost traveler, personally guiding them to their destination. He was always in motion, always reacting, and his own home, where he drew his maps, fell into disrepair. His maps became outdated because he had no time to survey the changing landscape. One day, a wise elder from a distant town visited. He saw the mapmaker's exhaustion and the pile of unfinished, inaccurate maps. He said, "You are confusing being a guide with being a crutch. Your true gift is not your legs, but your eyes and your pen. You must return to your desk. You must climb the high cliff to see the whole forest, not just the path beneath your feet. Then, draw a true map. A single, clear map can guide thousands, freeing you to maintain the lookout and update the routes. By trying to lead every single person, you have made yourself lost." The mapmaker followed the advice. He spent a season on the cliff, observing, drawing. The map he produced was so clear that travelers could use it themselves. He was then free to maintain his vantage point and refine his craft. His help became vast, systemic, and sustainable, rather than personal and draining. In your life, your map is your own clarity, your principles, your hard-won wisdom. Your desk is your practice, meditation, study, reflection. Your cliff is the perspective gained from self-care and solitude. When you abandon these to run into every forest of other people's problems, you eventually have nothing true to offer. You are just another lost person leading the lost. The Buddha did not follow individuals around solving their daily quarrels. He went to the cliff of enlightenment, saw the true map of suffering and its end, and then offered that Dharma to all. He taught the way, so others could walk it themselves. Your first responsibility is to seek your own cliff, to draw your own clear map through your own practice. The guidance you then offer from that clarity will be immeasurably more valuable. A personal lesson comes from learning to prepare ink for calligraphy. The task is slow. You pour a few drops of water onto an ink stone, then grind the ink stick in slow, steady circles. If you rush, pressing too hard or moving too fast, the ink becomes gritty, uneven, and useless. If you are distracted and grind too lightly, nothing happens. The perfect ink requires a patient, present, consistent pressure, a focused yet relaxed attention. For a long time, I would rush the process, eager to get to the important part, writing the sacred texts. But my characters would be blotchy, the lines broken. My master said, the writing is not separate from the grinding. The quality of the ink determines the quality of the expression. The preparation is the foundation of the art. Your mind in this quiet, repetitive motion is the same mind that will form the characters. If it is hurried here, it will be hurried there. I began to see that the 20 minutes of grinding was the meditation, was the foundation for everything that followed. In the same way, the time you spend in seemingly non-productive self-care, the walk, the quiet cup of tea, the meditation sit, is the grinding of your inner ink. It determines the quality of every action, every word, every gesture of help you will offer afterward. To skip it is to ensure your help will be blotchy and uneven. The Buddha encapsulated this in the concept of sila samadhi prajna, morality, concentration, and wisdom. They are sequential and interdependent. Sila, ethical living, creates the conditions for a calm mind. Samadhi, concentration, stabilizes that calm into a unified focus. From that settled, clear focus, prajna, wisdom, arises. This wisdom is what sees the most compassionate, effective action. If you try to generate wise, compassionate action, karuna. Without the foundation of sila and samadhi, you are trying to write beautiful calligraphy with gritty, lumpy ink. The intention is good, but the result is flawed. Your self-care is part of maintaining sila, respect for your own well-being, and cultivating samadhi, inner calm. It is not peripheral, it is central to the entire structure of effective goodness. So, we are invited to shift our view. The moments you take for yourself are not a subtraction from your service to the world. They are the multiplication factor. They are the sharpening of the axe, the grinding of the ink, the climbing to the cliff. They increase the quality and reach of everything you do. A single clear sentence spoken from a peaceful mind can do more than 1,000 anxious words. A single calm presence can soothe more than a dozen frantic actions. As we conclude this part, practice being the clear lake. For a few breaths, let go of any need to generate a solution or a thought. Simply be aware. Let the sediment of your mental activity settle. In the resulting clarity, simply rest. In this space, the right action, the kind word, the true help, will find its own way to arise when needed. You are creating the conditions for it. Welcome back. Let us sit together in the quiet. Feel the sensation of your clothing against your skin, the gentle pressure of the air around you. These are simple, present-moment experiences, requiring nothing from you but awareness. In this awareness, there is a profound kind of rest. And rest is not merely the absence of work. In the Buddha's path, it is an active, nourishing state, a returning to source. Imagine a tree in autumn. It does not cling to its leaves in a frantic effort to remain productive. It lets them go. This is not death, it is a wise conservation of energy, a drawing inward so that life may concentrate in the roots, preparing for the spring to come. We, too, have seasons. There are times for expansive giving, and there are necessary times for drawing in, for releasing the leaves of our external commitments to nourish our roots. To ignore this rhythm is to risk becoming a barren tree, all trunk and no life. The balance between helping others and caring for yourself is not a static line, but a cycle, a sacred rhythm of giving and receiving, of extension and return. The wisdom lies in honoring your own inner season, not perpetually forcing an unnatural summer. The Buddha himself exemplified this rhythm. After his enlightenment, he spent weeks in deep contemplation, enjoying the peace of liberation. He then considered whether to teach, wondering if the profound truth could be understood by others. It was only from that place of full, complete attainment, a place of absolute inner abundance, that he chose to arise and become the teacher. His teaching was an overflow. Furthermore, throughout his 45 years of teaching, he retreated regularly during the rainy season for intensive practice with his monks. This was not a vacation from helping the world, it was the essential maintenance of the well from which all help flowed. He modeled that to give without ceasing is to eventually have nothing true to give. Periodic return to the source is not optional, it is the law of sustainable compassion. Let's explore this with a new story. The eternal spring and the thirsty land. There was a land blessed with an eternal spring at its heart. The spring bubbled up into a small, crystal-clear pool before trickling out in 100 streams to water the fields. The farmers, in their gratitude, worked tirelessly to channel the water farther and farther, digging new canals to reach every corner of the arid land. They became so focused on distribution, on the engineering of help, that they never visited the spring itself. They assumed it was eternal and needed no attention. Over generations, debris, fallen logs, stones, silt, slowly accumulated around the spring's opening. The flow into the pool diminished. The streams grew weaker. The farmers, seeing their canals run dry, worked even harder, digging them deeper and wider, fighting over the dwindling water. Their efforts were frantic, competitive, and ultimately futile. A traveler, who understood the ways of water, pushed through their arguments and went to the heart of the land. He saw the choked spring. In a day of quiet work, he cleared the debris. The water surged back into the pool, and soon the streams ran full and strong. He said to the farmers, you were so busy managing the scarcity, you forgot to tend to the source of the abundance. The spring is eternal only if its mouth is kept clear. Your first duty is not to the canals, but to the spring. You are that spring. Your meditative practice, your walks in nature, your honest conversations, your creative pursuits, your simple joys, these are the acts of clearing the debris from your own source. The canals are your various roles and responsibilities in the world. If you only ever tend to the canals, the outward expressions of help, while your inner spring becomes clogged with exhaustion, unresolved emotion, and sensory overload, the flow of your compassion will inevitably weaken. The world will experience you as a dry canal, and you will experience yourself as a frustrated laborer. The teaching here is to regularly, daily, turn away from the canals and tend to the spring. I remember a period when I was responsible for leading morning chanting. I was so concerned with the correctness of the rhythm, the volume of my voice, the posture of the others, that the chanting became a performance, a duty. I derived no nourishment from it. I felt dry. My teacher, after one such session, asked me to stay behind. He handed me a small, handheld bell. "Ring this," he said. I did. "Now," he said, "close your eyes and just listen to the sound. Don't think about where it came from or what it means. Just receive it." I did. The sound washed over me, vibrating in my chest. For the first time in weeks, I felt a sense of spiritual refreshment. "You have been giving the chant," he said. "But you have forgotten to receive it. The chant is not a product you produce for others. It is a stream from the spring. You must place yourself in its path and drink. Then, what overflows from you will be authentic." This was a turning point. I learned that even within acts of service, there must be a receptive component. I had to learn to receive the very practice I was leading. In helping others, we must also find ways to receive from the act itself, the joy of connection, the lesson in patience, the beauty of witnessing growth. If an act of help gives you nothing, not even a quiet joy, it is a sign you are operating from an empty spring, merely moving water through dry canals. This connects to the Buddha's teaching on the Brahma Viharas, loving kindness, compassion, appreciative joy, and equanimity. They are called the divine abidings. Notice the word abiding. These are not actions you sporadically perform, they are states you cultivate and dwell within. To dwell in compassion, you must have a dwelling place. A heart that is hospitable, rested, and spacious. A heart cluttered with the debris of self-neglect cannot be a dwelling for divine qualities. It can only stage brief, exhausting visits from them. Your self-care is the maintenance of the dwelling. You are making your own heart a fit place for compassion to live, so that it can radiate from there as a steady, abiding presence, not as a fleeting guest. So, how do we tend the spring in a world that constantly demands we dig more canals? It begins with a reprioritization that feels radical but is deeply natural. It means scheduling your meditation not as the first thing to be cancelled when busyness strikes, but as the fixed point around which the busyness must flow. It means that the walk, the silent cup of tea, the few minutes of reading something uplifting, are treated with the same non-negotiable respect as a meeting with someone important. Because you are meeting with someone important, the keeper of the spring. It means learning to say, "I cannot help with that right now," not with guilt, but with the clarity of a gardener who knows he must first clear the debris at the source if he is to water any plants at all. Let's close this part with a simple practice. Visualize your own inner spring. See it as a place of clear, cool water bubbling up from the earth. Notice if there is anything covering it, worries like fallen leaves, exhaustion like heavy stones. In your mind's eye, gently clear them away. Then, simply watch the water flow. Don't send it anywhere yet. Just watch it fill its own pool, clear and bright. Rest in the feeling of that inner abundance. Know that from this full pool, streams will naturally find their way. Your task for now is just to maintain the clarity of the source. Let us continue. Feel the gentle rise and fall of your abdomen with each breath. This movement is a quiet testimony to life's innate balance, a constant, effortless exchange. In this moment, you are receiving oxygen, and you are releasing what is no longer needed. Nature holds the blueprint for equilibrium. Consider the shoreline where the ocean meets the land. The waves rush in with great energy, offering their gifts of moisture and motion, and then they recede, drawing back into the vastness. This retreat is not a failure or an abandonment. It is part of the cycle that prevents erosion, that allows the sand to settle, that maintains the integrity of the coast. If the waves only rushed in, never pulling back, the land would be swallowed. In the same way, our compassion must have its rhythm of engagement and disengagement, of offering and retreating into our own depth. To believe we must be perpetually in the wave phase, constantly giving, solving, engaging, is to misunderstand the natural law that sustains all things. The Buddha's middle way is this very shoreline, the point of dynamic balance where giving and receiving meet, where action and rest find their harmony. We often hear the term spiritual burnout, and it is a real suffering. It arises when we identify solely as the wave, forgetting we are also the ocean, the deep, boundless source from which the wave arises and to which it returns. Your true nature has that oceanic depth. The practices of Buddhism, mindfulness, meditation, ethical living, are not about creating a better wave, they are about remembering you are the ocean. From that remembrance, waves of compassionate action can arise with power and grace, and then recede without guilt, knowing they are not the whole of you, and that the source is limitless and needs replenishment from its own depths, not from the shore. Let me offer you a new story to contemplate this rhythm. The bell ringer and the space between. In a city of constant noise, there was a temple with a single, beautiful bell. The bell ringer's duty was to sound it at dawn, noon, and dusk. People loved the sound, it cut through the cacophony and brought a moment of peace. A new mayor, wanting more peace for the city, ordered the bell to be rung every hour. The bell ringer, wishing to serve, complied. At first, people appreciated the frequent reminders. But soon, something changed. The sound became part of the noise. Because it was so frequent, people stopped pausing to listen. They no longer heard the resonance that followed the strike, the space where the real peace lived. The bell ringer grew weary, his arms sore, his heart disheartened. The old abbot visited the mayor. He did not argue. He simply invited the mayor to sit in silence and listen to a single strike at dusk. The mayor agreed. The bell rang once. In the long, deep silence that followed the note, the mayor felt a profound calm he hadn't experienced in years. The abbot said, the gift is not in the strike, but in the silence it creates. By filling all the silence with sound, you have taken the gift away. The bell's purpose is to carve out a space for listening, not to add to the noise. The ringer, too, needs that silent space to hear why he rings at all. The order was rescinded. The bell returned to its 3 times a day, and its sound once again became a sacred event, a wave of sound that receded into a deep, listening silence. Your energy and compassion are like that bell. If you feel you must ring constantly, always be available, always be helping, always be productive, the special quality of your help is lost. It becomes part of the world's noise. Both you and those you wish to help stop hearing the resonance, the deeper meaning. Furthermore, you rob yourself of the silent space between actions where you listen, recover, and understand your own intention. The Buddha taught the importance of passaddhi, tranquility or calm, as a factor of enlightenment. This calm is the essential space between thoughts, between actions. It is the fertile ground from which wise action grows. Without consciously honoring the space between, we create a life of continuous, meaningless striking, which leads to exhaustion and deafness to the very peace we wish to convey. I learned this through caring for the temple's old wooden floors. The traditional method involved applying a thin coat of oil, then waiting a full day for it to be completely absorbed and dry before applying the next. I was impatient. I reasoned that if 1 coat was good, 2 applied quickly would be better. I applied a second coat after only a few hours. The result was a sticky, never fully set surface that gathered dirt and lost its luster. The master carpenter shook his head. The wood, he said, can only receive so much at a time. The waiting is not inactivity. It is the most important part of the process. It is when the wood integrates the nourishment. Without the pause, you are not caring for the wood, you are damaging it. I saw the parallel immediately. We are like that wood. Our being can only integrate so much experience, so much output, at a time. The pauses, the rest, the integration, the doing nothing, are when the nourishment of our experiences, including our acts of service, sinks in and becomes part of our strength. To eliminate the pauses is to create a sticky, chaotic inner life that cannot shine. This is the practical application of right effort in the Eightfold Path. Right effort is not maximal effort. It is balanced effort. It involves cultivating wholesome states and letting go of unwholesome ones, but it also involves knowing when to sustain effort and when to rest it. The Buddha described 4 aspects: the effort to prevent unwholesome states from arising, to abandon those that have arisen, to cultivate wholesome states, and to maintain those that have arisen. Notice, maintain is a gentle, sustaining action, not a forceful one. It implies a stewardship that includes periods of rest and protection, like letting the oil soak into the wood. The relentless, grinding effort to always be cultivating or helping without maintenance through rest is, ironically, a form of wrong effort. It leads to the very unwholesome state of burnout, which then makes all wholesome action impossible. Therefore, balance is not a compromise, it is the optimal condition for the flowering of compassion. It is the understanding that your retreat into silence, into solitude, into simple self-care, is an active and vital phase in your cycle of giving. It is the wave pulling back to gather strength from the ocean. It is the bell resting in silence so its next note can be clear. It is the wood absorbing the oil. In these phases, you are not absent from the work of compassion, you are performing the essential, hidden half of it. To integrate this, let's do a brief practice. For the next minute, do not try to generate anything, no kindness, no plan, no thought. Simply be aware of the space between your breaths. The slight pause at the top of the inhalation, the quiet moment at the bottom of the exhalation. Rest your attention in those pauses. They are not empty. They are full of potential, the source of the next breath. Your spirit needs the same. Honor the pauses in your life. They are the source of your next authentic, compassionate action. We will explore further. For now, as we close, know that the ocean of your being is vast. You can afford to let the wave recede. The ocean remains, and from it, another wave will naturally form. Let us arrive together, here, in this final moment of shared awareness. Feel the weight of your body completely supported by the earth, by the chair, by the ground beneath you. There is no more to do, nowhere to go. Simply be. The journey we have taken through stories and reflections circles back to a single, quiet point within you. The Buddha's wisdom does not point to a complex external formula, but to an inner knowing. The balance between helping others and caring for yourself is not a tightrope to be walked in fear, but a natural state to be remembered. It is the inherent harmony of your own being when it is not forced into extremes. You are both the deep well and the clear water offered to a thirsty world. You cannot draw from emptiness. You are both the strong, rooted tree and the sheltering shade. The tree must tend to its roots in the dark, rich soil. All the metaphors, the spring, the bell, the fountain, the mapmaker, the ocean, they all whisper the same truth. Your capacity to be a true, lasting benefit to others is inextricably linked to the health and peace of your own heart and mind. To neglect yourself is not a noble sacrifice, it is the slow dimming of the very light you hope to share. The path of the Buddha is a path of awakening to this truth with radical kindness. It begins by including yourself in the circle of your compassion. May I be safe. May I be peaceful. May I be free from suffering. This is not a selfish prayer, it is the lighting of your own lamp so you can see clearly enough to light others. As you move from this space back into the flow of your life, carry this gentle knowing. When you feel the tug to give until you are empty, remember the shoreline. The wave must recede. When you feel guilt for taking time to rest, remember the bell. The silence between strikes is where the meaning resonates. Your me time is not a luxury, it is sacred maintenance. It is you clearing the debris from your inner spring so the water of your compassion can run clear and strong. The practice is simple, though not always easy. It is the daily, loving return to your breath. It is the conscious choice to eat a meal mindfully. It is the walk taken not for exercise, but for presence. It is the quiet no spoken to protect a heartfelt yes. It is the moment you pause before reacting, touching the calm ocean beneath the wave of your emotion. In these small acts of self-honoring, you build the stable foundation from which all genuine goodness rises. You are not meant to be a martyr, burning out in a blaze of exhausted service. You are meant to be a gentle, steady flame, nourished from within, shining without effort, offering warmth and light simply by being what you are, awake, compassionate, and whole. This is the balanced path. This is the middle way. Thank you for walking this path with me at Monk's Temple. May the peace and clarity we have touched here ripple gently into all your days. May you care for yourself with the same tenderness you so readily offer the world. And from that abundant, nurtured heart, may your help be a joyful overflow, a gift that sustains both giver and receiver. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be free.